All right, this is Mr. Langley. I want to give you a lot of help on chapter 1.3. So that is the chapter I'm going to jump to. If you can look at the screen here, we've got something called the Cartesian coordinate system. So the very first thing I want you to do is probably to pause this recording and copy down everything you see on the screen here in front of me. And then when you're ready, continue to play the recording. So I want to talk a little bit about what is what and what it all means here. If you can see my cursor on the screen here, everything on the horizontal axis here is called the y-axis, okay? And everything that goes straight up and down on this is called the y-axis. I think I said it backwards. This is the x-axis, and the one that goes up and down is the y-axis, okay? As I have it marked here. And so coordinates, co means two, coordinate. They're often written like you see over here on the side here. And when they write 3, 2, they'll put it in parentheses. And the first coordinate there is what's called, I'm going to change color here, is the x coordinate. It'll always be first. And the second one is going to be your y coordinate. And so, oh, by the way, let me talk about the quadrants as well. Anything that falls in this space here that I'm kind of circling here with my thing, this rectangle, anything that falls in here is what's called quadrant 1. And anything that falls over here is quadrant 2. Anything over here, this should say quadrant 3, and over here, this is quadrant 4, okay? The reason why is probably because most of science, mathematics, research, data, calculations takes place here in quadrant number 1, because you have positive changes over time. But when you get into negative things happening, you start going to quadrant 2. So anyway, you will want to kind of memorize that anything that happens over here is in quadrant 1, anything over here is quadrant 2, 3, and then 4. All right. We've already talked about the fact that when they have coordinates here, like you see here, -1, 4, the first coordinate is the x coordinate, okay? So if you were to pause this video right now, would you be able to plot or put a dot where all of these 4 coordinates are? Okay, you can try it right now. If you don't, if you want to just watch me do it, here we go. The first one here, it says 3, 2. Okay, so the first number is the x-axis. I'm going to go over 3, and you'll notice they're both positive. So I'm going to go up 2, and this is where this coordinate would have been. Okay, we'll call this coordinate A here. Okay, and so that's how I would plot it on a graph. The next one is -1, 4. So I go back 1 on the x-axis because these are all the negative numbers, okay? Back 1, and you'll notice the second number is the y-axis and it's positive. I would probably plot that on this graph about right here, okay? Which is -1, 4. And I'm going to put a B here next to that and circle it. And then let's say that the C here is this one right here, and they ask you for -2, 3. -2's on the x-axis, and then it says -3. I'm sorry, -2 -3, which would bring me down to about right here. That's point C on this graph. And then point D over here, it says kind of an interesting one. It says D or 0, 4. Here's how that goes. The first one's 0 would be this little space right here, okay, where you're not going anywhere. This is 0 right here. So you don't go anywhere on the x-axis, but you go 4 up. So it would be literally right on this line here, okay? And so, and this is D, right? All right, if they ask you point C, for instance, point C here, what quadrant does it fall in? You would say, here's point C, it's in quadrant 3 here, and I changed that to a 3 because I mistyped. If they ask you what quadrant is point A in, here's my A over here, and it's in quadrant 1, etc. Okay, and quadrant B is over here. Where is it at? It's in quadrant 2. Okay, point B is in quadrant 2. Now, The interesting question that you need to know for your homework and also for a test is, what about D here? Okay, D's right on the line here. So is it in one, two, three, or four? If you have a guess, let me just help you out. It's in none of the quadrants. Any point that lies right on the line here, you would say, in this case here, D, you would just say, you just write your answer, it's on the Y axis, okay? That's actually how you answer it. It's none or Y axis. Probably Y axis is better. This point that I'm circling here on the screen, that we would put down, if they ask you what quadrant it's in, you would say it's on the x-axis, okay? That would be your answer in your homework. So that is a little bit about the Cartesian coordinate system. Again, be sure and copy everything you see on the screen. Study it so you know where the quadrants are. Make sure you know that the first point is the x-axis and the second point goes on the y. Make sure you're kind of comfortable with the idea that anything to the left of the zero here is negative numbers. Anything below zero is like below ground or below temperature, below zero, okay? And that'll help you out with this week's homework.